All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are going to do a reaction to a video from Nonstop. This one is called How a Chubby Kid Became an NBA Legend. And this one's from about 8 months ago. And I don't see too many Joker videos out there, Nikola Jokic videos. And considering he's one of my favorite, actually, like currently, he's my favorite player. I don't know that much about him, so I wanted to check this video out and kind of get to know who he is and what his journey has been, and you know, just generally learn about Joker. So we're gonna check this video out today. If you want to check this video out without my commentary, I'm gonna link the original video down below, like I always do. And if you do me a favor and leave a like on this video, I'd really appreciate it. It'll help it get out to more people and help the channel grow. And without further ado, let's do it.
Nikola Jokic can't jump over a puddle of water, and yet he's the best player in the NBA.
I saw him kinda dunk recently. Kinda, sorta.
Joker is the best passing big man in basketball history. He bends the reality of what's possible for a center and is the lowest drafted player to ever become the NBA MVP. This is the story of how the pudgy kid from Serbia became an NBA champion and one of the most unusual superstars in NBA history. Nikola was born in Sombor, Serbia, to a poor family that housed six people in a cramped two-bedroom apartment. But what they lacked in resources, they made up for with a love for basketball. Nikola's two older brothers were both talented players, and their father loved basketball more than anything. But Nikola wasn't like them. He was a shy, introverted 10-year-old, short and chubby, and PE was his least favorite class in school. When his dad told him that he signed him up for his first basketball practice, Nikola cried and didn't want to go. He began playing the point guard position, and his coaches quickly realized that this chubby kid was pretty talented. Despite being the slowest kid in every game, Jokic could really play, and he soon fell in love with the game.
That's funny. If he ended up being a little shorter, he would have been kind of like a, what's his name? Like a Luka Doncic kind of player, you know? But that sounds like that's what he was when he was younger. I guess it makes total sense that he used to play point guard.
However, when he was 14 years old, Jokic quit basketball. It wasn't that he didn't enjoy the game, but because he found something he cared for more than basketball: horses.
Actually, I quit playing basketball when I was like 13, 14, and I was here for like 6 months. And then my dad needs to convince my trainer to put me back in basketball. So
Nikola would come to the local stables every day after school to clean and feed the noble creatures. However, his father made him return to basketball, saying that he might be able to buy his own stable someday. Jokic played really well in the youth ranks, and this caught the eye of the most influential basketball manager in Europe, Miško Ražnatović. Miško owned his own club called Mega, which he used as a training ground to develop talent.
Real quick, after the Nuggets won the championship last year, you know how they have the parade every single time for the winner? Joker was stressed out about it because he was like, he said he wanted to go back home and be with the horses. So like he was, if it wasn't for peer pressure from the rest of the team, he was actually going to miss the parade just to get home to his horses one day earlier. So now it makes sense, because I just kind of like brushed it off when I heard it. I'm like, that's weird, but all right, Joker, you know. But okay, this really makes sense. He actually quit basketball at one point to be with the horses. That's something.
Only to sell them later. Ražnatović found out about Jokic through the local newspaper and saw that he was averaging 20 points and 20 rebounds per game.
Wow. It's like what he's doing against the Lakers.
But his first thought was that Jokic was just more athletic than everybody at that level, and that he was dominating because of his physical traits. So when he found out that Jokic was not physically dominant and was actually the least athletic player on the floor, the man...
Sorry, by the way, that was 20 and 20 at 10 assists, and that's what he did in Game 2 of the Lakers versus Denver. Game 2 of the playoffs this year. So he's always been this dude.
Manager got fired up and demanded that this kid get signed immediately.
Somehow, nobody really paid attention on this guy. This is the first and last player in the 27 years old history of the agency that we signed him without anybody seeing him.
Without ever seeing him play, Ražnatović signed Jokic on the spot. something he hasn't done before or after. But this proved to be the best decision they both ever made. When he moved to Mega, Jokic started playing for their junior team, winning the MVP of the Serbian Youth League, making the first team All-EuroLeague team for juniors, and a silver medal at the Under-19 World Championship. But despite being really good, there was a problem. Nikola was too heavy to play professional basketball. Jokic couldn't do a single push-up, and he would get exhausted after the first quarter.
When I first started playing basketball back home in Serbia, Belgrade, I really couldn't do a push-up.
At the age of 17,
Wow.
he appeared in 5 games of the first Serbian league and averaged 2 points and 2 rebounds in 10 minutes per game. Mega's coaches gave him a nutrition plan, and they were killing him in practice to improve his conditioning, but Jokic barely shed any weight. They knew something wasn't right. And soon they discovered his kryptonite. Nikola was devouring a Serbian pasty called burek, like there was no tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Burek is very high in calories. And
Hey,
to
that
make
looks
things
like a
worse,
baklava.
Jokic would wash it down with up to 3 liters of Coca-Cola
Hold up. Hold up. Is that a Serbian version of baklava? No. What are you filled with?
tomorrow. Burek is very
See that though. The skin. The layers, the sheet layers of that pastry dough. But no, that's got some cream in it. That's worse than baklava. Baklava's terrible for you. This is wow. What is that? What is that? God damn, I try a piece.
very high in calories. And to make things worse, Jokic would wash it down with up to 3 liters of Coca-Cola every day.
Yeah,
But
that'll
what
do it.
Jokic really needed was something healthy and something smart. And that's why what he really needed is today's video sponsor, AG1.
Oh, hey, that was a good segue. Come on. That's a long ass. They must have paid you some good money, buddy. Are we there?
Or click the link in the description to get a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs free with your first.
Good Lord.
Cheers to a healthier you. The transition from junior to senior basketball is hard for every teenager. But luckily for Nikola, it coincided with the return of his older brother Nemanja from America. Nemanja Jokic played NCAA basketball for Detroit Mercy, and he
Get
could have
outta
been a
here.
professional if he didn't hang out with Darko Milicic. Darko was drafted 2nd overall by the Pistons in the 2003 draft. But
Yeah, that
he
was a
more
big
famous
whoopsie.
for his partying and bad behavior than for what he did on the basketball court.
Oh.
Nemanja experienced firsthand what can happen if a basketball player doesn't take basketball seriously. Realizing that his younger brother possessed tremendous talent, he influenced him to stop eating junk food and chugging Coke, and not to make the same mistakes as Darko and himself. However, a key role in the development of Nikola's career was Mega's head coach, Dejan.
That's true. He's got what, 2 brothers, and they're like his mafia, man. Not literally, but you know, they support the hell out of him.
Milojevic. Milojevic realized very early that Jokic possessed court vision like no other player he had ever seen.
Yeah, for
so
real.
he gave Nikola complete freedom on the court. In 2023, it became somewhat normal for 7-footers to bring the ball up the court like a point guard. But in 2013,
Jeez, not like that,
this
though.
was unheard of. Jokic had the luxury to handle the ball and not care about making mistakes, something that American centers his age could only dream of. Jokic showed not only an exceptional talent in
nice
passing,
play.
footwork, and ball handling, but also an approach to the game that is rarely seen in a 19-year-old.
My God, look how skinny he was. Wow.
Boyishly playful, without any concern in the world, almost nonchalantly dishing out no-look passes like Magic Johnson.
It's about teammates, you know. When I open, I score. When I pass, you know, play basketball. Just play simple as I can, you know.
In the 2013-14 season, the coach's effort to improve his conditioning finally gave results. Jokic appeared in 38 games, averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in 25 minutes on the court. After
Nice.
that, Raznatovic put his name in the 2014 NBA draft. But despite Jokic's early
Wow.
brilliance, NBA GMs were not overly excited about an unathletic and chubby 18-year-old from Europe.
That's crazy to think with numbers like that. He went to the draft. No wonder why he got picked so low. I don't blame him. People who never watched him play, they would have no ideas just going off of stats. God damn it, look at what he's done now.
Ultimately, Jokic fell all the way to the 2nd round and
Yep.
41st overall pick when he was finally selected by the Denver Nuggets. And when his name was called, the NBA famously played a Taco Bell commercial during the pick. Because
Oh.
who really cares about the 41st pick? But on the other side of the Atlantic,
Wow.
Jokic didn't care either. By the time his name was called, it was about 5 a.m. in Serbia, and Jokic was sound asleep. While most people would be up all night trying to find out which NBA club they'd end up playing for, 0 ducks were given by Jokic. And unlike most drafted players, Jokic wasn't too eager to come to the NBA right away and decided to stay one more year in Serbia. Ultimately, his decision proved to be the right one. Despite Mega finishing 10th in the Adriatic League in the 2015 season, Jokic became the league MVP, averaging 16 points, a league-leading 9.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. After that, it was time for Jokic to take his talents to America. But when he came over to play in the Summer League, Jokic did not excel, averaging 8 points and 6 rebounds in 5 games. The reason was immediately apparent to Denver coaches. No matter how much weight he lost at Mega, he was still not in great shape. So, between the Summer League and the
was it cardio?
Start of the season, Jokic lost 25 pounds in a few months. But there still was one problem for him to showcase his ability. His name was Jusuf Nurkic. Nurkic was a great friend to Nikola, but on the court they were competitors, depriving each other of much-needed playing time. Coach Malone tried to play both of them on the floor at the same time, but that was awful, and there simply wasn't room for both of them. After Jokic averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2...
I don't know Nurkic that much. Did they play very similar styles? I know the name and I know I've seen him play. I got nothing right now.
On the floor at the same time, but that was awful, and there simply wasn't room for both of them. After Jokic averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.5 assists as a rookie, and made the All-Rookie first team, he started his sophomore season even better. And then Denver executives decided to keep the 41st pick over the 16th pick and traded Nurkic, as crazy as it seemed at the time.
Yeah, that's right. Now I remember him.
In 2017, Jokic improved his numbers to 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists per
Damn, he's getting closer to that triple-double, isn't he?
Game, while also finishing top 4 in the league in true shooting efficiency. In 2018, he was even better, finishing the year averaging 18, 11, and 6, becoming the most versatile
18,
offensive
11,
center in the NBA.
Shoot. That's sick. That's high dollar numbers back in the day.
Because he spent part of his basketball youth as a point guard, Jokic was not afraid to dribble the ball, even against much faster players, knowing that he had the big body and technique to protect the ball while running through the paint. Jokic rarely turned the ball over, despite making risky passes that would have resulted in turnovers with most other centers. But unlike Draymond Green...
Wow. God damn, man. He's insane.
Who is a good passer for a big man, Jokic is also dangerous as a scorer.
Yeah.
Even though he's probably the least vertical player in the NBA, Nikola still kills you with polished footwork, a soft touch, and a series of head feints that drive defenders crazy.
To be honest, I always say I'm playing this way since I started playing basketball.
His lethal arsenal.
Kobe did say that the Europeans have the advantage nowadays over they have the advantage basketball-wise because it's all athleticism nowadays in the NBA. And he said Euroball, like all they focus on is fundamentals. They don't care about the athleticism. It's just all fundamentals. And look at this guy. Look at Joker. It shows. If all you do is focus on athleticism since you were a kid all the way to the pros, dude, what can Joker not do? He's good at everything.
On the low block and passing masterclass becomes even more dangerous when you factor in his fantastic face-up game, where he becomes the most unpredictable player in the NBA. If he's facing the basket at the top of the key, there is always a danger that he'll sink a mid-range shot or a floater right in the opponent's face. If the defender gets close to him, Jokic can get past either backing him down or facing up. And if everything else fails, he'll do his patented Sombor shuffle. Like all great players, Nikola developed a trademark move. And just like Jokic himself, it's extremely weird looking.
It's kind of like Dirk's 1 foot fadeaway, 1 leg fadeaway, but it's smoother and a little bit faster. I don't know if it's as deadly, though. It's about even there. They're kind of similar when it comes to their shooting.
Unorthodox. The Sombor shuffle is a half-step back, half fadeaway that looks like a crooked and clumsy version of Dirk Nowitzki's legendary one-legged shot.
Called it.
Despite the aesthetics, it's extremely effective.
He hit a couple of those right foot joints that he shoot on me, like frustrating as hell. You feel like you've done everything you could possibly do to make him take a bad shot,
Look at all
then
that
hit nothing
space
but the bottom of
creates.
the net.
And another thing that flies under the radar with Jokic is how strong he is. When someone has
right on
muscles,
Aiden's head.
he looks like a strong man. That can be very deceiving. The strength is in the hips, torso, and legs. Nikola is physically stronger than most centers. Others may look stronger, but they are not. Jokic's athletic coach. However, despite Nikola's brilliance that led the Nuggets to a top 5 offensive team in the NBA, their defense was in the bottom 5, and a lot of the blame was on Jokic. His lack of athleticism was even more pronounced by poor stamina, which made him one of the worst defensive centers in the NBA. And despite the Nuggets improving each year and winning 46 games in 2018, they missed the playoffs by 1 game.
You guys think he still has a sweet tooth? I mean, I don't see him running out of breath nowadays, but do you think those first 3 years in the NBA he still had that sweet tooth? So he just couldn't handle the cardio still?
Losing the deciding game of the season against the Timberwolves. But that would all change very soon.
That strength change, condition change, it helped me a lot on the floor, you know. I don't get tired that much, I feel stronger.
In the 2019 season, Jokic
Strength.
continued the upward trajectory, finishing the year with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists per game.
God
He
dang.
made his first All-Star team and first team All-NBA, and the Nuggets finished second in the West, making the playoffs after 6 seasons without an appearance. Denver won their first-round matchup with the Spurs, but they would lose in Game 7 against the Blazers in the second round, despite the Joker averaging a near triple-double. In 2020, Jokic made the All-NBA second team, but the Nuggets regressed, and nobody gave them much chance in the playoffs. And in the NBA bubble, things didn't start well, as
That's when I really started noticing Joker was in the bubble. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Denver was losing 3-1 against Utah in the first round of the playoffs. But largely thanks to Jamal Murray, who got the better of Donovan Mitchell in an offensive duel for the ages, the Nuggets won the series in 7. In the second round against the Clippers, they were in the same hole, again falling behind 3-1 in the series. Then, against all odds, they did it again, made another miraculous
What a
comeback,
shot.
and won another Game 7.
Long distance from Murray.
One cool thing about Denver, I'm sorry to my homie B, who hates Denver, but dude, between Joker and Murray, their 2 leaders, they're both freaking ice vein clutch, and they're both just badasses. Like they're in good hands. If the 2 of them can stay healthy, they're in good hands for many years to come.
Only 11 different teams in NBA history came back after being
I hope
down
they stay
3-1,
together.
and the Nuggets did it twice in the same playoffs. However, in the conference finals, the Lakers were too strong, and the Nuggets lost in 5 games. When the next season started, we noticed a significant change in the Joker's appearance. Usually after the season, he'd relax at home, eat tasty Serbian food, and drink Yalen beer. But this time, he came back after the summer break noticeably slimmer and didn't have to spend the first 2 months of the season on a diet just to get into basketball shape.
I just wanted to change something, you know. I wanted to see, can I do it? Can I really change my body? And I lost a lot of pounds, and I feel much better, you know.
Because of this, we've seen his game rise from an all-star to the superstar level,
Yeah.
and his numbers skyrocketed. Jokic averaged 26, 11, and 8 for the 2021 season,
It's
shooting
insane.
extremely efficiently from everywhere on the court. But most people already knew that he was an offensive wizard. Where Jokic made the biggest leap was his defense. He still wasn't a vertical rim protector like Rudy Gobert, far from it. But
Damn.
what he couldn't give the Nuggets with athleticism, he made up for in hustle. His smart positioning and long arms made him a plus defender when protecting the paint, and the Nuggets were 4 points better defensively with Jokic on the court.
That's important.
Because of his newfound conditioning, Jokic was second among all centers in steals, he was 4th in the entire NBA in deflections, and 12th in contested 2-point shots. Jokic led the NBA in all the advanced offensive ratings, and because of his improved defense, he deservedly won an MVP award. But
Yep.
because Jamal Murray tore his ACL, Denver got swept in the second round of the playoffs. In 2022, the Nuggets didn't have Murray for the season, and they also lost Michael Porter Jr. after just 9 games. Without 2 of their 3 best players, Jokic almost single-handedly led the team to 48 wins and a playoff berth, with stats that were even better than the previous season. Nikola became the first player in NBA history with 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists in one.
Wow. That's disgusting. Go Joker, man.
Season, which secured him a second consecutive MVP award. His backdoor passes, no-look dimes, and touch-and-go volleyball assists became an art form.
He could have won it last year, too. No disrespect to Embiid, but I don't know.
And when you're talking about the beauty of the assist, there is nobody in the NBA who does it better than Big Honey.
How do you do that?
And while many people believed he couldn't improve after that, Jokic surprised the world again.
Yeah,
for much of the 2023 season,
I don't think
he's
hit a prime yet.
triple-double, eventually finishing just 12 assists shy of a triple-double season average. His conditioning is something that nobody can question anymore, as Jokic is regularly outrunning most centers down the floor, usually handling the ball and setting up teammates in transition. But what went under the radar is how efficient Jokic was, and that he had the most efficient shooting season in NBA history. There have been only 5 players in NBA history with a true shooting percentage over 70% for the season. And while Jokic's 2023 season is 5th on that list, everybody who is above him on that list is a center whose offensive diet largely consists of dunks, like Rudy Gobert, Mitchell Robinson, and Tyson Chandler.
Joker can't even really dunk. I mean, he tries.
2023, Jokic only had 23 dunks, and his scoring output was mainly floaters, jump hooks, and mid-range shots. Where Jokic is by far the best in the league is in shots between 3 and 10 feet to the basket, which he's hitting with an insane 65% efficiency. While Joel Embiid won the MVP over Jokic, many would argue that it's because of voter fatigue, as Nikola once again led the league in almost all advanced metrics.
Sorry, Embiid, but yeah, 1, it was voter fatigue, and 2 was because he was victimizing himself so much. He was whining, what do I gotta do? What else do I have to do to win? You know, I was like, that was sad. I lost so much respect for Embiid when he was doing that. Like, focus on winning a championship. Stop focusing on the MVP. I've never seen anybody in history before focusing on the MVP like this. Like, win a title. Focus on that. You know, what I gotta do? What I gotta do to win one? I don't know, man. Break Joker's legs?
An unprecedented hype around the 2023 MVP race saw many people lobbying for Embiid to get the award. Mainly Kendrick Perkins, who accused Jokic of stat padding, along with some very stupid racist remarks, which is better not to get into here.
Yeah, stat padding, and then that stat padding, so-called, led to a championship. And was Philly out in the first round last year? I think Philly was out in the first round. Either way, they certainly didn't win a championship, so I don't think Joker's stat padding.
What does 100 triple doubles mean to you?
I mean, when you start padding, it's easy, you know, so.
But what's maybe even more impressive than Jokic's triple doubles is that he doesn't care about the individual awards.
No, he doesn't.
He's all about the team's success. When the reporters asked him about becoming the first player since Larry Bird who could win 3 consecutive MVP awards, Jokic nonchalantly responded, "Larry can keep the record. I don't care. I bet Bird doesn't even know where his MVP trophies are." While Embiid publicly demanded to win the award, Jokic kept his mouth shut and continued praising his teammates.
Yeah, once again, that's why I respect. I mean, I liked Embiid a lot before that, but ever since that, I'm like, I don't ride with Embiid anymore, man. Joker, though, I like that. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's just out there to play hard for his team. Go out, win. You know, it's just like the whole, like, he didn't want to be at the parade thing because he wanted to go do other things. He's not there to be like, hey, shower me with praise and celebration. You know, he's the finals MVP and all this crap. He doesn't care. Just wants to go out there, play hard, and then job's done, go back home to the horses.
You'll never hear Nikola talk about his accomplishments. And since Tim Duncan, there hasn't been a more humble and low-key superstar.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Jeff, are you pumped? You're getting so much better at this. He is. I love it.
But when the playoffs started, Jokic showed everyone who the real MVP was. While the Sixers lost in the second round for the 5th time in the last 6 years, with Embiid's numbers dropping across the board, the Joker dominated. And
oh, man, so they lost to Boston, and Boston lost to Miami, huh? Yeah.
Not only did he dominate, Nikola had one of the best playoff runs in NBA history.
Yeah, he crushed it.
In the second round against the betting favorite Phoenix Suns, Jokic averaged a triple-double for the series, and Denver advanced in 6 games.
Why we got to talk about that, man? Why we got to talk about that shit?
In the conference finals, the Nuggets swept LeBron James and the Lakers, with Jokic averaging another triple-double.
It's good. Let's focus on that. I like that better.
And then in the finals against Miami, the Joker averaged 30, 14, and 7, leading the Nuggets to their first NBA title and winning the Bill Russell Finals MVP trophy, becoming the lowest drafted player ever to win the award. With 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists per game in the playoffs, Nikola became the first player in NBA playoff history to lead all players in total points, rebounds, and assists. The Joker.
Well, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and who else played for Denver? Dikembe Mutombo and others. They thank you, man. You guys finally got your first championship. Still waiting for my Suns to get our first one. It's looking a lot more likely Denver gets their second one before we ever get our first.
Joker also set the record for the most triple-doubles in a single postseason with 10.
God damn.
While also shooting an insanely efficient 55% from the field, 46% for three, and 80% from the free throw line.
What? All three are ridiculous for a big man. Shaq, take a look at this. Don't even look at that, Shaq. That's not something you could have ever done. But 46% from three as a big man. I don't even understand that. Anybody would kill. I mean, Steph Curry, I don't even think he's ever put up 46. Has he ever done that before from three? And 55 from the range. See, I could see that happening. You know, Jordan averaged 51 for his career. I could see that. Mid-range. But how did he pull this off? 46 from three. That's disgusting.
And now you are an NBA champion, Nikola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Yeah, listen to him.
Whatever his team needed, Jokic provided, making correct decisions on nearly every possession and scoring clutch baskets when the game was on the line. In historic terms, Jokic's 2023 playoff run ranks in the top 10 all-time in almost every advanced metric, such as offensive win shares, box plus-minus, and value over replacement player. In terms of points created for his team with scoring and passing, Jokic directly contributed to 55 points per game, which is the best playoff mark ever. His numbers are like someone combined prime Shaq's scoring and rebounding, Steph's shooting, and Magic's passing, all in one. If we look at Joker's playoff averages for his entire career, he's the only player who's in the top 10 in scoring and top 20 in assists and rebounds. Another crazy statistic is that Jokic is shooting 41% for three in the playoffs, which is a better mark than Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Ray Allen. He's also 5th all-time in playoff rebounding percentage and 2nd all-time in box plus-minus, behind only Michael Jordan. But when it comes to player efficiency rating in the playoffs, Jokic sits at the top, in front of Jordan and LeBron. If you didn't know, now you know. Jokic is among the top 5 best offensive players ever. And the things that used to be his weakness, stamina and defense, have now only become Nikola's strengths. Out of the 16 playoff games, the Nuggets had the 3rd best defensive rating. In 4 out of 5 games in the finals, they held Miami to under 100 points. While most athletic bigs try to block shots, Jokic bothers and baits shots with his long arms while never jumping in the air. Because of this tactic, he never gives up defensive rebounds and is in a perfect position to run the fast break. And when you combine his IQ with active hands and nimble feet, you get an excellent defender. In the 2023 playoffs, opponents involved Jokic in over 40 pick and rolls per game, which was 8 more than any other player. It was obvious that opponents tried to attack him and make him work on defense. But when Jokic defended pick and rolls, it produced just 102 points per 100 possessions. That's a better mark than Jaren Jackson, Anthony Davis, and Draymond Green, and they are the best defensive big men in the NBA. Jokic has signed 2 maximum deals so far, and he's likely going to sign the 3rd one, which will make him the highest paid player in NBA history.
Well deserved.
But that doesn't matter to him whatsoever. Jokic married his high school sweetheart, and apart from his family, all he cares about is his horses. His father's prophecy came true, and Nikola was able to buy his own stable, and he even races when he's in Serbia, which makes him happier than any triple-double or an MVP award. Not bad for a chubby kid that used to drink 3 liters of Coke a day and couldn't do a single push-up.
It's crazy. All right. Cool vid. Cool vid. Check out Nonstop. Links down below if you want to check out the channel. You know, the one thing, first of all, great video. I learned a lot. But the thing on my mind right now is, all right, we know about his love for horses. Serbia is his home. So eventually he wants to go back home. He's making all this money. He doesn't care about the fame, nor does he care about being the greatest of all time or any of these accolades. He's just out here doing his job, and he has a good attitude about it. You know, I talked with my friends about, like, could we be looking at the new GOAT? Like, if he just keeps this up, he gets some championships, and he rides this prime for like 10 years. And I think we could be. But I think what's going to happen with Joker is after he makes enough money and he wins enough, and say he's like 32 years old, something like that, his body starts wearing out a little bit, I think he's going to be a guy who walks away from the game. That way he can enjoy his hobbies at home. You know, be with his family, live on his land, race the horses, all that stuff. I could really see that being his future. But let me know what you think down below on my take on that. Could you see him doing the same thing? You know, just walking away, you know, riding into the sunset. The job is done. Time to go home. You know, like he said after winning a championship. Yeah, let me know down below. Thanks for watching the video today and going down this experience learning about Joker with me. Like the video if you could. It'll really help. Subscribe if you haven't and you like this content. And I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Peace out.